Alright, I'm back at it again with another tier list. This time, because we're almost a month in, I decided I wanted to do a SmackDown vs. Raw tier list. Fun fact, this is actually my first video idea, but then I did the draft instead, because the draft was better. But even then, I still sucked at both, so hopefully this video goes a little better than that one. Also, you notice 5 people already ranked? They're not real. They shouldn't be here. And I'm gonna go over each one of them real quick. You are a manager, you will almost never show up. Same with you, even though I really do want you to show up. You two are different versions of already pre-existing characters, and you aren't allowed to be here. You're not canon. So let's start with Alicia Fox. Yeah, I don't like her. Alicia Fox has that problem where it's like, alright, what do you got? And then they just don't respond. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. I mean, her finisher in this game, I'm pretty sure is a Twirl World backbreaker, so like, there's not much I can really say there. But the next character, Batista, yeah, he could win any title. Batista is a very good character. The only problem with him is that he's not a permanent fixture. He leaves for, I think, WWE13, maybe 2K17 as well, I'm not sure. But Batista's not entirely consistent, so he's gonna be a little lower than some people. Beth Phoenix kind of has to be and wins all the titles. No, I'm serious. Beth Phoenix is probably my second favorite woman on the women's roster in this game, and she's very consistent early on, so we're kind of forced to play her game. The Big Show is a world title holder. He's not booked the greatest in real life, and I'm trying to change that. The problem is that he's just in a tag with Chris Jericho, so like right now he's sort of forced to be just a bodyguard. He'll break out eventually, but like I kind of doubt that he'll be able to do anything substantial. Oh yeah, Bret Hart isn't real, but if he was, he would probably hear, but he's not real. I wish I had him, but I can't find his download code anywhere. Fuck Brie Bella. The only reason she shows up on Raw is because there were only 3 women on Raw, and there still hasn't been a trade yet, so like... The British Bulldog goes here. The British Bulldog doesn't do a lot in this game because he's only in this game, and he starts out as a DLC character, meaning he's at the bottom, but he has showed up twice, so he's better off than most people. Then there's Chavo Guerrero. He's in the tag danger zone. I was tempted to put him above Alicia Fox, but like, Chavo's not that bad. He's not just stuck in mid-card. He's like there to rise other people up, not himself, especially because he's in 2 games, and he's not that appealing in those 2 games. Jericho could hold all the time. That's his thing. He's a little more inconsistent than anyone else, because for some reason he's not in WWE 12, because he wasn't with the company at the time, but like, Jericho is very good at being really unlikable, especially in this game. So Jericho's a great heel champion. I mean, Batista's also a heel, but that's more because of other events. You're supposed to be my friend! Anyways, Chris Masters. He's kind of just stuck in the mid-card, honestly. Like, Chris Masters, I would want to push him to the main event eventually. The problem is that I really can't. Chris Masters is one of those people where, because he's only in 2011, it's really hard to push him substantially. It feels like I'm fighting tooth and nail to get him to do what I want. Chris Masters will eventually do something of note other than, like, be on The Rock's side as a manager. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. But Christian gets himself world title holders. Christian is largely underrated, and around this time his whole thing was, I am the ECW champion, which isn't very good as a gimmick. Considering that Christian isn't that extreme either, like the most extreme he got was when he was in the Brood, you start to kind of think about how ECW went, you go, eh. But now that he's out of ECW and he's on SmackDown, things are gonna go better for him, because he's not stuck on a brand where the world title doesn't mean anything. Punk is a weird person, but I think I'm gonna put him here. CM Punk is someone I've always gone back and forth over, you know, how much do I want to push Punk? The only problem with Punk in this game is that he's in a tag team with Luke Gallows, so there's not a lot to talk about when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of just how Punk is booked. Because for the first, like, 2-3 months, it depends on how much I make the Straight Edge Society win, which they do have to do. I don't really have a good reason to not have the Straight Edge Society stick together. The problem is, like, Punk is better than the tag scene. Cody Rhodes in this game, I'd say, is a pretty good mid-card. He's not world title yet. We'll get to when. He's not a world title guy yet. And no, I'm not gonna make you wait till 2K23 when he finally gets the woo. Instead, I'm gonna make you wait till like WA13 when he gets the new theme song and he's 10 times better. David Hort-Smith is just like stuck in tag hell. He's not that good. He's the worst member of the Hart Foundation. And I don't know what to do with him, and he's not in a tag team. Like, if he falls out of his tag team, he actually just goes to HE double hockey sticks, because I don't know what to do with him. David Otunga is also kind of in the tags danger zone, but that's because his tag team fell the fuck apart, and now he's losing to The Rock on Superstars. That kinda sucks. David Otunga's story in this universe mode is just kinda sad in general. Bro is just sitting there and getting bodied by The Rock because David get mad at him for being a bad guy. Dolph Ziggler is a pretty good mid-carder, but he can be better. Dolph can hold the world title, it's just that it's not that likely. Out of all the people in the world title holders, he's probably the least likely to win. But you know who is likely to win? Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler have been feuding for a while. I mean, their feud has stopped in the last 2 weeks. I think they were mainly feuding over the US title #1 contendership, but you know, Drew's the better one though, I will say. And you know why? Drew has a future, and his future is bright. This isn't like Ziggler, where he's sort of the same after a while and nothing really changes. I mean, yeah, sure, there's 2K19 where they give him the record scratch before his entrance, and his whole gimmick is that he sucks, but like, half of his gimmicks are not good. Dirty Dogs just puts him in a forced tag scene, so like, Drew is the only character that I actually debated on getting rid of, and I decided to keep him because I figured he's a good jobber, which is why he's probably going to be at the top of actually just not there, because he serves his purpose of being a weak-ass jobber and also faking out The Undertaker every 5 damn minutes. Edge is a very solid, wins all the titles, especially early on when he's not forced to have the shitty face and the blue attire. Like, once we get to 2K15, 2K16, it's like Edge just slowly loses his charm. But like, in this game, he's fucking awesome. I love him. His attire looks sick. You can make it better. Superstar Threads really helps you make good edge attires when the edge attire is already good. Ignore the fact that in this game, the attire screen just bugs a lot. Evan Bourne is a very good mid-carder. The reason why he's only a mid-carder is because he kind of suffers from the same effect that Rey Mysterio does. If you've noticed, Rey hasn't gotten a true win yet. That's because a lot of the people in the universe mode that are top tiers are people that could beat him the fuck up very easily. Edge is like the only person that could really beat him up that isn't like a big scary monster guy. Eve's a pretty good mid-carder. I mean, she's not top tier, but like, I have her in a really sick attire, but like, that's it. Beth is better. Ezekiel Jackson's also a pretty good mid-carder. The only problem I have with Ezekiel Jackson is just that he's just big, scary, rough guy. That's it. There's nothing else to his character other than I'm big, I'm mean, I'm scary. Finley's just like stuck in hell. It's cause he's old as shit by this point. And this is his only game, because in the future, it's called Fifth Finley, which means that it's not Finley, it's Finley's son, which is confusing, but I can't make it look that well any other way. Gail Kim is like the shocking A tier, the shocking world title holder. You know, if you've watched TNA, you know what I mean. Gail Kim's good at wrestling. She's not bad. It's just WWE didn't do shit with women, so she didn't ever get a chance to shine. Goldust is at the very bottom of mid-carders, because he is a mid-carder, but like, I don't really want to push him. Goldust just doesn't need to get pushed. He can be a good mid-carder. He's just fine the way that he is, so I'm not really like pedantic to get him back, you know? Jack Swagger is also in mid-card, because I actually kind of like him. Look, Jack Swagger should not be World Heavyweight Champion, I'll admit it, but I do kind of like Jack Swagger. He has aura that can carry him much farther. Now, We the People, that has no aura. Doesn't matter if you bring Zeb Coulter in or not, it doesn't have aura. Jake the Snake's a good mid-carder. The thing about Jake the Snake is that I feel like he's one of the more boring legends. Like, no offense to the 80s, but like, random guy that carries a snake around isn't exactly as memorable as some of the other wacky characters of the 80s and the 90s. So whenever I see Jake the Snake, I just kind of go, eh. Same with Jimmy Snuka, except Jimmy Snuka's worse. Jimmy's worse just because this is his only game. There's nothing actually against Jimmy Snuka. It's just that he doesn't show up ever again outside of All-Stars. Cena's at the top of A, but he's not in wins all the titles for one reason. I have a rule. It's a personal rule. You don't have to follow this. My rule is that if Cena's heel, he will win titles. If he's face, he can't. And this is because no one liked face Cena for years. In a universe where someone takes over the company from someone whose biggest fault is that they push the same guy that people didn't want to see, they're not going to push that guy unless they make a change to him. So they're going to learn from their mistakes. It's not necessarily anything against John, especially because I feel like I should give him a world title run since he's retiring in real life. John Morrison's actually a pretty good mid-carder though, I will not lie. And that's just because not only is his finisher one of the coolest looking finishers in all of wrestling, don't say the fucking Canadian Destroyer. Look, if I hear anyone in the comments trying to say the Canadian Destroyer isn't overused and it still looks cool, I will not like you. But yeah, John Morrison has Starship Pain, it's pretty cool. Plus, there's more to John Morrison than just primal guy, powerful guy, pedophile. JTG is stuck. JTG without Crime Time feels weird. Nothing against JTG, but like, there's no aura without Crime Time. Like, Shad wasn't the guy you went to go see, but like, he was the guy that got all the pins and stuff. So like, you could tell who they were trying to push and who they weren't, and JTG is clearly not that guy, pal. Justin Gabriel's also kind of stuck in tag hell, but I say he's a little better off than David Otunga. Mainly because I allowed him to bounce back by just teaming with his pro from NXT, which it could be a good or a bad idea. It depends on who they actually face. A problem I have with booking tags is that I book them like they're in a ladder. Instead of it being like, oh, well, these tag teams can, you know, like beat these tags and all that, yeah. It's more like, top of the guy can beat everyone. This guy can do that. That's about it. I basically have my tag set up to be fucking the equivalent of a burger. You want to take off the bottom and not eat the bun? That's fine. But you gotta have the top bun. It's stupid. That analogy was also stupid. Kane. It's actually pretty damn good. Kane is a very good world title holder, especially in his masked form where I don't have to worry about him losing aura because he has a face. But also, Kane is Kane. He's a literal demon. He has a gimmick that fucking works. It's not like I can say it doesn't work. It's pretty damn good if you ask me. Being a literal demon that can summon fire is pretty good on its own, but also being like 6'6" or whatever Kane's height is. What is his real height? Being actually 7 foot tall is pretty good too. Is he actually 7 foot? He's probably not 7 foot. Someone's gonna come into the comments and be like, you're just compensating because you're small. I don't care if I'm small. I care that I'm correct. Kelly is fine. She's not really in the tag danger zone. It's just that she won't win that often. Women don't get tags in the first place. There's only really 2 in 2011. That's Lay Cool and the Bella Twins. One of them doesn't matter, and the other, because of the other one not mattering, doesn't fucking matter. Kofi Kingston is like the top of mid-card. If I had someone that personified the mid-card, I'd pick Kofi Kingston, because he is the mid-card. Now, if you go back to the previous video, you would know that I actually ended up giving Kofi a win against The Undertaker and Chris Jericho, but like, he's still mid-card personified. Don't get it twisted. Layla's good. I think my problems with Layla sort of stem from the fact that she is. It feels like Layla isn't supposed to be here yet because I didn't have DLC the first time I did this gimmick. My brain is confusion. That's about it. Actually, remember how I said Dolph was the bottom of A tier? No, Lex is the bottom. He could win the world title, but there's no need for him to. But he's not a personified mid-carder. So he's like, oh, I could win the titles, but I'm not gonna. Speaking of someone who could win the titles, but probably won't, it's Luke Gallows. Yeah, Luke Gallows is stuck in the danger zone. This is mainly because he shows up for one game, he doesn't come back until 2K17, which is insane, and then he's still in a tag team. Literally, this guy's entire gimmick is that he's stuck in tags his whole wrestling career. It was the last time I saw Luke Gallows not be in a tag team. Mark Henry is currently like a pretty damn good mid-carder. You know what that is? It's another two-parter! I got your ass again, didn't I?